2018 Atlanta Press Club Loudermilk Young Debate Series. Brought to you from the studios of Georgia Public Broadcasting. This is the race for Georgia governor.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Lisa Ram, Capitol correspondent for Georgia Public Broadcasting. You are watching the Atlanta Press Club Loudermilk Young Debate Series, originating from the studios of Georgia Public Broadcasting right here in Atlanta. This is the debate among candidates for governor of Georgia. So let's meet the candidates right now. They are in alphabetical order. First, Stacey Abrams, a Democrat, is the first woman to lead either party in the Georgia General Assembly and the first African American to lead Georgia's House of Representatives. Brian Kemp, a Republican, has served as Georgia's Secretary of State since 2010. And Ted Metz, a Libertarian, is retired from a career as an insurance and financial professional. Welcome to you all. Now, the time has come to meet our panelists. First, we have Greg Bluestein, a political reporter for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, followed by Elwyn Lopez. She is a reporter at 11 Alive TV here in Atlanta. And Frank Malloy is an anchor at WMAZ-TV in Macon, Georgia. Welcome to you all.
Thank you.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's get started. For rules on today's debate, please visit the Atlanta Press Club website, atlantapressclub.org. Next, here we go. To start the debate, each candidate will be asked 2 questions. Frank Malloy, you get the first question to Ted Metz.
All right. Mr. Metz, welcome. You propose eliminating the state income and property tax and boosting the sales tax to try and make up that revenue. How do you sell that to low-income people on fixed incomes?
It's really easy because we have electronic systems where we can issue a card that would actually use as a discount on the taxation right at the checkout counter. It's simple.
Ellen Lopez, you get the next question for Stacey Abrams.
Ms. Abrams, you participated in a 1992 protest where you burned the state flag. Do you stand by those actions? And what message do you have to people who are concerned that you burned a state symbol even though it had a Confederate emblem?
Well, first, I want to say thank you to the Atlanta Press Club for having me. And I want to say that I'm a very proud Georgian. I graduated from our public high schools. I went to Spelman College here in Atlanta. I left for graduate school and law school, but came back as soon as I could. I came back because I wanted to help build my state, make it a stronger place. And 26 years ago, as a college freshman, I, along with many other Georgians, including the governor of Georgia, were deeply disturbed by the racial divisiveness that was embedded in the state flag with that Confederate symbol. I took an action of peaceful protest. I said that that was wrong. And 10 years later, my opponent, Brian Kemp, actually voted to remove that symbol. What I'm fighting for now, though, is more of Georgia values, making sure that we expand Medicaid so everyone has access to health insurance, ensuring that all of our children get educated at strong schools that understand their needs, and making certain that we create good, prosperous jobs across the state of Georgia, all 159 counties. That's what I want to do because I'm proud of Georgia and proud to be a Georgian.
Thank you. Moving on. Greg Bluestein, please ask a question of Mr. Kemp.
Yes, Secretary Kemp, Ms. Abrams and her allies have repeatedly called on you to resign as the state's top elections official. You've rejected those calls. I've got a 2-part question for you. 1, do you believe you can impartially oversee the state's elections while also running for governor? And 2, your office is required by law to direct a recount. Would you recuse yourself if a recount is necessary?
Well, thank you so much for having me this evening, and I appreciate that question. I took an oath of office to serve as Secretary of State, and that's exactly what I'm going to continue to do. As anyone that knows about elections in Georgia, it's our county elections officials that are actually holding the election, which is going on right now and will be on Election Day. Their local bipartisan election boards tally the votes in the election. They're certified at the local level and then hand-delivered to our office. So I'm doing the exact same thing that Democrat Kathy Cox was doing when she was running for governor. You know, if we have the instance of a recount, that's automatic by state law. If lower than 1%, that, again, is something that the counties do. And we got a very competent elections team to oversee that process, and I'm certain that there would be a lot of people watching that. And I have staked my integrity of my whole career on the duty that I have as Secretary of State. I've always fulfilled and followed the laws of our state, and I'll continue to do that through the tenure of my service to this great state. Thank you.
Mr. Kemp, thank you for that opening remarks there. Greg Bluestein, we go back to you to ask Ted Metz a question.
Yeah, Mr. Metz, you've promised to cut spending by slashing what you call obsolete, inefficient, unnecessary, and unconstitutional agencies. What specifically would you eliminate? And what do you say to Georgians who might depend on their services?
Get another job. What is that noise?
Unfortunately, we're experiencing an alarm here and a fire alarm here at our GPP studios, to be exact. The timing?
It couldn't be better, could it?
This right now.
Interesting.
We are going to try and get this corrected for you as soon as possible. I suggest possibly, do we need to take a break? Because out of the fairness and the spirit of this debate, we need to hear every single word that our candidates are saying this afternoon. And we want to be fair to you, the audience, as well. This is live TV, folks. Things like this happen. We're going to take a break and try to fix this problem for you. Stay tuned. You're watching the debate series. The beauty of live TV. We were interrupted a few minutes ago by a fire alarm. We received the all clear here at the studios. We welcome you back to the governor's debate, a really important and historic and iconic debate in the state of Georgia. We're going to pick up where we left off with Greg Bluestein asking Mr. Ted Metz a question.
Take two. Mr. Metz, you've promised to cut spending by slashing what you call obsolete, inefficient, unnecessary, and unconstitutional agencies. What specifically would you eliminate? And what do you say to Georgians who might depend on those services?
The services won't be going away. They'll just be replaced or transformed into some other, absorbed into another department. We have 13 transportation agencies in 11 counties around the city. We certainly can eliminate some of those, combine forces, and actually improve government and government services with technology, number one. Number two, with efficiency. Number three, with, again, paring down on the number of employed people we have in the government. What are they going to do instead? They're going to find private service jobs. We have a lot of jobs available in Georgia. They can do something different. We don't need to pay them on government salary to do things that are unnecessary. I have a list on my website of all the different things that can be cut, and I would defer people to that to review.
Mr. Metz, thank you. Frank Malloy, it is your turn to ask a question of Stacey Abrams.
Ms. Abrams, why do you think expanding Medicaid will help people in rural counties who are dealing with hospital closures and severe doctor shortages? And will it even be possible, given that you're going to work with a Republican-controlled legislature?
I spent 11 years in the state legislature, 7 as Democratic leader, and I know how to work across the aisle. And this is one of those solutions to a problem that has been plaguing the state of Georgia for more than a decade. Rural Georgia has been losing hospitals at an alarming rate. And because of that loss, we have companies leaving, we have people without access to health care, and we aren't doing the kind of economic development work we can do. With the expansion of Medicaid, we can save rural hospitals, cover more than 500,000 Georgians, and invest in all of those communities to the tune of $3 billion, including the creation of 56,000 jobs, 60% of which are outside the metro Atlanta area. I'm so bullish on Medicaid expansion because I know it works. It's a bipartisan, proven solution that even Governor Mike Pence did in the state of Indiana. Georgia has more rural hospitals on the brink of closure than almost any other state. And unless we expand Medicaid, draw down the $3 billion to which we are entitled, and invest it in Georgia, we will not be able to build the strongest rural Georgia that we need.
Ms. Abrams, thank you. Elwyn Lopez, you get the final question in this round for Brian Kemp.
Secretary Kemp, one of your ads says, reward those who follow the law and pay their taxes, not those who don't. Under DACA, there are people who are living and working in the U.S. There are about over 20,000 DACA recipients here in Georgia. They are paying their taxes but not allowed to go to some of the top colleges in this state. Do you believe DACA recipients who are paying their taxes should be allowed to go to those top colleges with in-state tuition to further contribute to our economy?
No, I do not. I've been running my whole campaign on putting Georgians first. I think we need to continue to do that. Unlike Ms. Abrams, who wants to give the Hope Scholarship and free college tuition to those that are here illegally, I think that is the wrong position to go. I think we need to continue to fight for our own people that are our own state, that are citizens of our state, and that's what I'll do as governor.
If I may respond.
You may have a rebuttal.
I've pushed for allowing any student who graduates from our high school to participate in the Hope Scholarship Program, because these are young people who were brought here not of their own volition. But in a state like Georgia, we have to lift up every opportunity to improve our economy, fill our nursing shortage in rural Georgia, and do the best we can for our economy. And I stand by believing that every Georgian who graduates from our high schools should be allowed to attend our colleges, and if they're eligible, receive the Hope Scholarship.
And Mr. Metz, we'd like to